we're going to continue on now with Joey Logano, driver of the number 22 Team Penske Ford. If you have a question for Joey, please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. We'll start here with Eddie.
Hey Joey, Eddie Kalegi, Motorsports Today. Saw you were at the Yankee game last night. We've seen a lot of drivers going to baseball games. Of course, the Bristol game coming up soon, which is really cool. How crucial is it for NASCAR, looking big picture, in terms of growth, to maintain these relationships with other pro sports, even if they're not racing?
Yeah, I mean, we've all learned and been using, the opportunity to go out there and cross-pollinate, if you will, right, into other sports, right? Sports fans usually are a certain breed, right? I think there's different categories, right? There's car people, right, that just love cars, and they could be NASCAR fans. And I also think sports fans that love sports and people competing can also be NASCAR fans. So the more we can expose a non-race fan into what we're doing, it's just good for the whole sport. And in any way you can do that. So obviously we want to continue to, take care of the fans we already have, right? When you look at this weekend, it's sold out. It's fantastic. But, the more we can grow our sports, good for everybody involved, including you guys sitting here.
We'll come up front to Dalton.
Hey, Joey. Dalton Hopkins, a front stretch. Dale Jr., he pretty much surprised a lot of people saying that, now he's going to crew chief for the Xfinity race this weekend. Is crew chiefing something that you could ever see yourself doing later on down the line, or is that just too much?
Never thought of it. I think the opportunity was perfect for him to jump in there and do it, right? He owns a team. A situation pops up where you can, give it a shot. I think it's cool. I think it's really cool. I'm sure most everybody thinks it's really neat for him to do that. I don't know if I'll ever have the same exact opportunity as that, but I mean, sure, I'd jump in. Being a crew chief, though, is much more than just filling in on race day, right? I mean, that's one part of that role. That role is much deeper on the day-to-day basis. So if you're asking me if I'd crew chief a race, sure. If you want me to crew chief a whole car all year long, I'd rather drive.
And going along with the pro sports visits, are you and Stephen A. Smith buddies now? And are you going to be back on First Take at some point?
I mean, if they invited me on again, I'd do it again. It's fine with me. I don't think we were ever not buddies. So, but no, it's cool. I mean, like I said, all the media tour stuff that we did this week and other drivers have been doing lately too. It's all good. It's all good stuff, and reaching out to different areas that typically we wouldn't be on. So it's all good.
All right, we'll go to Tim next.
Tim Kettle, Motor Racing Network. Joe, I want to ask you two questions. I asked your teammate Ryan about this as well. Going into Atlanta next week, the track is, as the last couple of years have gone by, changed a little bit as far as the racing is concerned. What's your thoughts on what the racing is like now at Atlanta and how you feel as far as where your team is at going into that race next week?
I mean, I feel really strong about Atlanta with our car. With that said, anything can happen. Definitely a challenging racetrack because it's, how fast do you want to go by yourself and how great do you want to handle in the pack? And what place you're going to be running is going to answer that question in two different ways, right? If you're leading, you want it trimmed out. If you're not leading, you're going to want a little extra downforce on it. Well, it's not a knob that you can adjust throughout the race, which you could, but you can't. So it makes it pretty challenging to make the right choices and what do you want to do and what's going to be the best and what's the temperature going to be like? Is the track giving up a little bit more grip? All kind of those things. The bumps, are they getting worse, right? Like those type of things that are definitely going to happen over time, just how quickly. And this day and age, you don't go out there and practice and go, oh, we definitely want to go the other way. Like you qualify, you still don't know what you got until the race starts, and then you're obviously married to that.
Your teammate Ryan Blaney was excited about this in-season tournament that's going to start in a little bit. Do you have the same feeling on it as far as the overall concept with this, as it being a new concept so far this year?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. I think it's placed perfectly where it is in the season. This is kind of that moment where, the newness is worn off, right? Like we're into the rhythm. We're racing every week. We're not quite to it's starting to start maybe a little bit of who's going to be in the playoffs, who's not, the cutoff line, all those type of things, but it's not like really the main story quite yet. And so this really spices up the mid part of the season. We have a long season, so just kind of changing it up and adding something to it's great. And the in-season tournament it's cool, right? We've never done anything like it, but there's a big enough reward to care about it. I can tell you that much.
Okay, we'll go to the back right side here.
Samuel Stubbs, YoBarker.com. Joey, I remember talking to you in Chicago last year about your championship hopes at that point. That was a week after you'd won at Nashville. Well, that was still the point of the year where you hadn't quite turned up the speed dial yet. This year, winning earlier, showing more speed, running up front more consistently, do you feel better about your championship hopes at this point in the season, or as a team that's popped up when they're not necessarily expected to and found a way to win these championships? Is there just always a sense of we can do it no matter how much speed we're showing at any given moment?
Yeah, the latter, for sure. I mean, it seems like you can never count the 22 out. We seem to show up when it matters the most, more times than not. Doesn't always happen that way, right? But we put a lot of effort in to try to make it that way, and we think all the races count, to be honest with you. But obviously, the stakes are a little higher as the playoffs rolls around, and so I feel solid about where we're at. It's the same team pretty much as what we had last year. So the guys know how to do it. They know how to handle the pressure when it's turned up. So we should be fine.
All right, we'll take one final question here in the middle. Yes.
Hi, Joey. Ryan from Five Lug Racing. You and your team always find a way to show resilience in fuel strategy races, and Pocono typically trends into a race where fuel strategy plays a role. Does it excite you heading to a track that plays into a strength of your team? It's been 13 years since your last trip to victory lane here. What's it going to take to do it this weekend?
Well, I mean, it's going to take a fast car. Obviously, we want to have that. But, to your point, you got to have the strategy piece worked out, and the execution of the race in general, the restarts and all that are chaotic here as well. So got a great team when it comes to that part of it. Paul Wolf is one of the best when it comes to strategy, maybe the best when it comes to calling a race. And for what a lot of people think is gambling, he does not see it that way at all. It's all calculated in his mind. So between him and the engineers, they do a great job at figuring out what the best decisions are to position the 22 as close to the front as possible, and at that point put it in my hands to try to make it happen. This track definitely presents a lot of opportunity, though, to do things. With the stages, the way they fall, with being able to pit and not go down a lap, there's a lot of opportunity to do some crazy stuff, right? I mean, it's a road course-ish, oval-ish place, right? So you got a lot of opportunity to do some different things. Yep. Thanks.
Joey, thanks, and good luck this weekend.
Great. Thank you, guys.